These lands are America's greatest treasures. From their old-growth forests to their towering peaks to their crystal-clear waterways. These lands are home to grizzly bears, bald eagles, mountain lions, and wolverines. And national parks alone attract more than 275 million visitors every year. Yet many members of Congress seem bent on trashing our treasures and have launched an assault on the best of America. Since the beginning of time, humans have depended on the environment for food and shelter, and in today's modern world, that hasn't changed. What has changed is the way we treat Mother Nature. No longer do we only take what we need. We are wasteful and greedy. We are quickly consuming our non-renewable resources and destroying our renewable ones. Trees are being logged at alarming rates, and water everywhere is being polluted by mines and erosion. Over this past year, there have been many acts proposed that, if passed, will ruin wilderness areas and allow humans to invade pristine woodlands in over 15 national parks. Some of these acts include the Wilderness and Roadless Release Act, proposed by Kevin McCarthy. This act would open roadless areas in national forests and wilderness to building development and resource extraction. The Wilderness Development Act, proposed by Dan Benishek, also known as the Recreational Fishing and Hunting Heritage and Opportunities Act, if passed, would allow motorized vehicles, temporary roads, building construction, logging, and energy development in pristine wilderness areas, causing erosion and habitat destruction. The Sportsman's Heritage Act, proposed by Jeff Miller, would roll back crucial environment protection, which would overturn refuges to allow widespread motorized access, permit logging, mining, and fossil fuel extraction in sensitive areas, causing erosion, habitat loss, and possibly water pollution as well, causing harm to drinking water. And possibly water pollution as well, causing harm to drinking water. It would also close many hunting and fishing areas in favor of energy development with no notice to the public. The Conservation and Economic Growth Act, proposed by Jeff Denham. Shh.
Cody, bye.
Oh, Ma. I'm trying to do something.
I'm sorry, Cody. Remember I gave you an extension cord for your lamp? Are you currently using the extension cord? What are you using it for?
Like you take it. Right down.
Well, I'll just take one for the
I bet I'm on it.
Shh.
No.
The
But my mom came
Ah.
and like interrupted the recording, so she's just like. So you want the guy? Huh?
Ugh.
No, I'm just gonna take it.
Oh.
You're all killing me. Slowly. What? Got it. Okay. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready to be silent.
Yeah.
Emma, I'm ready.
Shut up.
Emma, I'm ready.
Shut up.
Emma. I'm ready.
The Conservation and Economic Growth Act, proposed by Jeff Denham, would amend the wild.
I'm ready.
Would amend the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act, allowing clear cutting of old-growth forests in Alaska. Allow motorized vehicles near. Allow motorized vehicles near turtle nesting areas and Cape Hatteras. Oh my God, Cody, why can't I talk?
What if I just made a bunch of sex noises in the background when you're recording?
Stop it. Allow motorized vehicles near turtle nesting areas in Cape Hatteras National Seashore in North Carolina and in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness in Minnesota. It would waive 16 cornerstone environmental and public health laws within 100 miles from borders and exclude the management of livestock grazing from environmental review. This could cause damage not only to national parks and the wildlife within them, but also residential areas near the United States borders. The National Security and Federal Lands Protection Act, proposed by Rob Bishop, would exempt the Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol from 36 environmental and public health laws within 100 miles of borders, which include the Safe Drinking Water Act and the Endangered Species Act. Repealing these acts not only causes harm to humans drinking water, but also endangered species. It could also open national forests to roads, fencing, cars, towers, and checkpoint construction without any notice to the public. Another act proposed by Rob Bishop this year was the Land Division Act, also known as the Action Plan for Public Lands and Education Act. This act would force the Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service to give away 5% of lands in each western state, leaving 30 million acres vulnerable to resource extraction and development. The American Lands Act, proposed by Ted Poe, would force the Bureau of Land Management and Forest Service to sell 8% of federal lands to the highest bidder annually until 2016. This year alone, they would be forced to sell nearly 36 million acres to corporate interests. The final disappointing act is the Disposal of Federal Lands Act, proposed by Jason Chaffetz. This act would force the Bureau of Land Management in Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, Utah, and Wyoming to sell off excess public lands to the highest bidder. These acts will destroy ecosystems, causing disturbance to not only plants and animals, but possibly humans as well. Even our protected preserves, there are problems with exploitation from excess stock grazing, which causes erosion and habitat loss, dam building, oil drilling, mining, logging, and overuse by the public. National parks aren't about saving nature anymore, they are about entertainment. There are many traffic problems, air pollution, smog, and surrounding areas being clear-cut or mined, drastically affecting many preserves. If this wasn't bad enough, parks don't get to keep most of the money they generate. The management of the United States ecosystems is not adequate and needs to be reformed in order to maintain lasting, complex environments that not only benefit wildlife, but benefit humankind as well. Ecosystem management should integrate sustainable, ecological, economic, and social goals in a unified system approach. To reach this goal, there should be emphasis on managing whole landscapes, watersheds, or regions over ecological timescales. We need to consider human needs and promote sustainable economic development, maintain biological diversity, and ecosystem processes. Utilize cooperative institutional arrangement, generate meaningful stakeholder and public involvement to facilitate collective decision-making, and adapting management over time based on conscious experimentation and routine monitoring. A very Faustian choice is upon us, whether to accept our corrosive and risky behavior as the unavoidable price of population and economic growth, or to take stock of ourselves and search for a new environmental ethic.